Born in Los Angeles to famous vaudeville performers, King Durkee's childhood was spent traveling the vaudeville circuit throughout North America. At an early age, he learned to live independently. Serving others was always important to him, despite his struggles to make ends meet during the Depression. He landed a job as a machinist for Douglas Aircraft, and due to health concerns, he and his young wife moved to Ogden.
We lived on 26. I'd come down 26, 5th Street. And I came down this one morning heading for Washington Boulevard to catch my bus out to Hill Field. And there was a large group of people in front of this building. I had no idea what this big brick building was, but I got interested and I hung around and I looked around, and the building turned out to be the front of the gymnasium of Old Weber College. These people were standing in line. They were registering for something. They were registering to go to college. So I stood in line and registered to go to college. My wife was quite surprised, I say, when she came to work. The problem with this was I was 25 years old. They were 17, 18 young kids out of high school. The other problem was I had never graduated even from junior high school.
Although he had no formal education, he quickly adapted to college life. As World War II intensified, he enlisted in the Army. And right before his deployment, President Henry Aldous Dixon was notified by the Army that King must stay in school and study pre-med courses until he could be assigned to medical school. After a long wait in 1944, he finally entered medical school, but said he hated it. As the war ended, he was no longer needed by the Army and was able to pursue his love of journalism, and he finished his degree at the U of U. He worked at the Deseret News for 10 years as city editor, a position that complemented his natural teaching abilities.
If you're the city editor of a newspaper, you're teaching your reporters. I remember years later after I'd left, a girl columnist on the newspaper Deseret News, if you were writing your last column, they said just write anything you want to write about. And she wrote about all her newspaper city editors. And she says, when it comes to King Durkee, I'll tell you this by telling you a little story. Another reporter and I went up to Alta one nice day, snowy day. He skied, I didn't. He got at the top, he came down. Oh, it just was beautiful the way he made these patterns in the snow. And he came down and I said, Jim, that's just beautiful. And he said, yeah, Max, it is. And you know the best thing about it? And she said, what? He said, Durkee isn't here to tell me to go back and do it over again.
He moved to San Diego to accept a position as managing editor of the San Diego Union, later becoming editor and then executive editor. He spent over 50 years as a journalist and was a pioneer in training young journalists, many of whom have gone on to gain national prominence. He was a featured speaker at journalism schools throughout the country. King has always recognized the importance of educating young minds and has been actively involved in promoting primary and secondary education. He was the spelling master for many years with the San Diego Spelling Bee, and for 40 years he served as president of the San Diego Science and Engineering Fair. His commitment to education led to 4 terms as leader of the California Board of Governors and responsibility for over 200 community colleges throughout the state. He worked closely with Governors Pete Wilson and Ronald Reagan and was recognized for his tireless and dedicated service. King is also recognized internationally for his love for the arts. Since 1962, he has written an internationally syndicated column on classical music. He served on the board of directors of the Old Globe Theater in San Diego's Balboa Park, as well as a leadership role in the San Diego Symphony Orchestra Association. From his days at Weber, King credits the influence of Dr. Leland Monson for his love of arts and literature.
Dr. Leland Monson, who opened an unbelievable world to me. Yes, I had read extensively. I was very much. Newspapers, novels, things like that and so forth. Monson taught me what great literature was, its value. He It gave me particularly a love of poetry that continues to this day.
King Durkee eloquently expresses his modesty and shares the credit for his success with others. But ask King about the years he spent on the Weber College campus, and you'll quickly see what Weber means to him.
Everything. Everything. Imagine it. Imagine what Weber did to me. Weber opened to me the doors to a world I didn't even know existed.
Weber State is proud that King Durkee is one of its distinguished alumni.